Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Sunday evening, December 17, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related questions that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so we're going to be looking at the next couple of days according to what the Euro model is showing. So it is Sunday evening right now. So we're going out to 0Z Monday, and you calculate that as 7 p.m. on Sunday. And we do see that we still have some amount of moisture taking place across portions of the Greater Antilles, including the Bahamas, Cuba, Jamaica, and we're going to be looking at the same on the GFS forecast as well. So much of the same. As we can see by the rainbow satellite images, all of the moisture that we're seeing represented by the greens on the models is what we're seeing right now on the satellite images. So majority of the heaviest weather associated with it has passed over the island today, moving from west to east, but affecting mainly southern Jamaica today. And we can see that majority of the heaviest weather associated with it is now off to the east of the island, as indicated by those high level clouds, maybe some amount of convection as represented by those greens, yellows, oranges off to the southeast of the island especially. But we still have some amount of rainfall to receive coming in from the west, some of which is already affecting sections of western Jamaica as we speak. And as we move out in time, we're still expecting that by the time we get into Tuesday, the rainfall, or majority of the rainfall associated with the tail end of the system, should be up to the east of the island, affecting portions of Haiti, the Dominican Republic. Maybe a section of northeastern Jamaica could still be getting in on some more rainfall, and we're still going to be going out the same time period on the GFS, and we see much of the same in terms of the rainfall. As it relates to the rainfall totals, we're going to be looking at the next 168 hours. That's the next 7 days. And even after this system is out, we're still seeing an increase in the amount of rainfall that's expected, especially across northeastern Jamaica, especially considering that there is some talk of a cold front coming through, and we know with these cold fronts we usually have that northeasterly flow across the island, cooler temperatures, and especially a lot more rainfall across sections of northeastern Jamaica, so maybe St. Mary, St. Ann, Portland, sections of St. Thomas as well. And we're starting to see the rainfall totals associated with that cold front, with those purples that represent up to 2 inches of rainfall or more. And we not only see that on the Euro model, but we see that on the GFS model as well. So northeastern Jamaica, brace for more rainfall even after the system is out of there, all courtesy of the cold front that's expected to come. Because when we take a look at the surface map, we're actually seeing the blue line that represents this cold front that's expected to come through, and there's actually another one behind it, all of this pushing towards the southeast, all courtesy of all of those winds that we still have coming in from the United States. Look at all of those winds when we take a look at the wind map forecast, coming down as represented by those greens from the north and the west. All of the winds still coming in from the east across portions of the central and eastern Caribbean. All of this meeting up right here across the Greater Antilles, stretching all the way into the Turks and Caicos and to the areas to the north of there. And we can see it all even better on the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down. Look at those low level clouds pushing down from northwest to southeast across the Gulf of Mexico into the western Caribbean, associated with that flow of wind. Not to mention the easterly flow of winds coming in across the eastern to the central Caribbean, and everything meeting up right here across the Greater Antilles, including Jamaica, Cuba, and the Bahamas as well. We'll be talking more about the weather across the Caribbean later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Sunday, December 17. According to the post that was made on our Twitter page, we actually predicted some amount of rainfall For sections of the island with this very fancy tweet, brace yourselves, Jamaica, Sunday, December 17, 2023, might just be nature's way of giving you an impromptu water park. Prepare for a tropical downpour extravaganza that could potentially turn streets into rivers and backyards into lakes. And we highlighted the video that we posted yesterday. And the rainfall was predicted for most parishes. So eastern, central, and western Jamaica, of course. Eastern parishes in Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey. Central Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex. Western Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall. And it was actually predicted to affect sections of some southern parishes, especially during the morning, throughout the day, actually. Then spilling into northern Jamaica, especially during the afternoon hours. We know southern Jamaica, we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas. Northern Jamaica, we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. And we even saw that as early as last night, even before we headed into Sunday. We had the Cuban Doppler radar images showing rainfall still affecting sections of some southern parishes, definitely sections of Westmoreland spilling into sections of Hanover, sections of St. Elizabeth and Manchester gotten on some of that, and it spilled into the rest of the south coast and even sections of some northeastern parishes as the night progressed, as we woke up to reports of it raining all across the island last night. And we could even see it even better on this tweet that was posted right here on our Twitter page. Keep in mind that these posts aren't only made on our Twitter page, but our Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok page. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we make a lot of posts that you can't afford to miss that we don't even make here on our YouTube page. So we can see that at 8:01 a.m. we highlighted that it has been raining all night across sections of the island, so from Saturday night into early Sunday morning. And the latest visible satellite images as of 8:01 a.m. on Sunday highlighted some amount of clouds coming into sections of southern Jamaica, still bring some amount of light to moderate rainfall and even some heavy rainfall as well to sections of Manchester, Clarendon, and St. Thomas at that time. And we even had confirmation of this rainfall. Shanique Cassandra stating raining in Maple and Clarendon. Lance Brown stating it's raining. Then later on at 11:50 a.m., we highlighted the Cuban Doppler radar images. We know we have to depend on the Cuban Doppler radar because the Jamaican Doppler radar has been out for quite some time. Hopefully they get it sorted out quickly. And we know the greens represent some amount of light to moderate rainfall, the yellows represent some amount of heavy rainfall, and we saw that rainfall across the island. So definite sections of St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas, Portland, and this was valid for 11:50 a.m. by the way. And we indeed had some of our commenters confirming this rainfall. We had Cheryl stating, "Yep, Portmore rain" with the rain emojis. Even on our Instagram page, we had Akeem Reed 44 stating rain in St. Catherine. And on our Facebook page, Kiva Gray stating raining heavy in time and patience. Then finally, we posted something from the See Jamaica YouTube channel highlighting the rainfall that was being experienced across sections of Crossroads in St. Andrew. Definitely had some amount of light to moderate rainfall at around 1:39 p.m. And we even have confirmation of this. Marian Hines on her Twitter page stating rain from yesterday, really needed it. Though for my farm, I'm in St. Elizabeth. Ricardo James stating moderate rainfall in eastern Kingston, loving it. And even on our Instagram page, we had Jenna 993 stating Montego Bay is nice and dry until now, but I see some dark clouds coming over. Winner like Winston stating Southside, yeah, wash and rinse from yesterday to now. Even on our Facebook page, we had more comments coming in from Ruth Johnson. Sunny in Mobay at the moment. That was 3 hours ago. So that was expected considering that majority of the rainfall was pushing to the east. Nadine Pickersgill stating raining in St. Thomas. Brian Stevenson overcast at the moment. Nelly Nemoy Temoy stating Portland raining. Chantal Watt stating same in Clarendon. Thank God. Then finally, we had Nadine Williams, Rumble posting an emoji with all of the rainfall and whatever that is swimming in the water. Eleanor Thompson, rain, rain, rain. Arlene Rankine stating rain like crazy in Guys Hill and Cole Bud. However, if we take a look at the latest See Jamaica live stream from halfway through, we don't see much happening right now. Starting to see things cool off. We actually started to see things cool off as early as this afternoon across the corporate area. Keep in mind that if you'd like to see some more live streams of the corporate area, just feel free to visit See Jamaica on YouTube. It's very much free. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can see that low level flow coming in from the south or the southwest. Look at that, we even had some amount of clouds coming into sections of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, and Hanover before the sun went down. And if we take a look at the infrared satellite images, we can see those high cold cloud tops indicating some amount of convection taking place across that area right there that we just mentioned, sections of Westmoreland, Hanover, and we can see the heaviest of the weather off to the east of the island now as represented by those blues, greens, yellows, oranges, and reds. Not to mention some sparkling white dots in there that indicate some amount of lightning flashes, if not lightning strikes. And we can see it all even better on the latest Cuban Doppler radar images. Still have some amount of rainfall off to the west of the island as represented by those greens. Definitely going to be coming into sections of Negril, Westmoreland, sections of Hanover. We see some of that rainfall to the south of St. Catherine and Kingston and St. Andrew as we speak. Who knows, maybe some of that might make it into the island later on tonight. And we can see that rain band that affected us today off to the east of St. Thomas. All of this pushing towards the north and the east. And if we take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map shows where we had the rainfall today. So sections of most parishes got in some amount of rainfall, especially on the south coast where we see those brighter greens as representing all the rainfall totals that we see by the key on the bottom. Keep in mind that this map that shows the past 24 hours in terms of rainfall is coming from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can say we have 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 3 a.m. on Monday, the temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Kingston. As it relates to the temperature forecast, we're starting to see more of that gray, blue, and green starting to intrude into portions of the western and central Caribbean, including Jamaica, associated with the cold front that's expected to bring cooler temperatures to the island this week. And this map is valid for 18Z on Monday. This is actually 1 p.m. on Monday when we calculate it. We see more in the way of grays, and when we take a look at the key on the right, the grays represent zero average temperatures. We do see some spots of yellows across eastern Jamaica that could represent 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. But for the most part, we're seeing more grays, even some spots of blues of the western portion of the island. So west getting below normal temperatures, east getting above normal temperatures, the middle getting in on that average temperature. And we know the average temperatures for the month of December, according to this bar graph, is about 87 degrees Fahrenheit. When we take a look at the thermometer, 87 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 30 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from, let's say, 29 to 30 or 31 degrees Celsius across the island for tomorrow. So more so western Jamaica, 29 degrees Celsius, central Jamaica, 30 degrees Celsius, eastern Jamaica, 31 degrees Celsius. Taking a look at the dry air map. So we're starting to see that behind this system, we have a lot of dry air that's coming through. Look at all those reds, oranges, yellows across the Gulf of Mexico and the northwestern Caribbean, and all of that is pushing towards the southeast, maybe to affect sections of Jamaica. We can also see a lot of dry air right there off the coast of Africa as represented by those reds and whites within those reds, and we know all of that has to do with the Saharan dust. Look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Monday. We do see a lot of browns, not to mention the darker shades of browns that indicate some vigorous plumes of dust, and we know those vigorous plumes actually cause the hazy skies. They actually trigger off some asthma, respiratory illnesses, sinusitis for some person, But this is where it's supposed to be for 2 p.m. on Monday, and we do see that Jamaica should be in the clear at that time. As it relates to the wave forecast for tomorrow, we do see that we have more blues surrounding the island, according to both the Euro and the GFS model. More so, some darker shades of blues across western Jamaica, some lighter shades of blues across eastern Jamaica. We know the lighter shades of blues represent anywhere from zero point 0.5 for meter to 1 meter wave height. The darker shades of blues represent 1.5 meter wave height or more. And that's because the winds are starting to pick up, especially across the north and western portion of the island. Look at those greens. Those greens represent anywhere from 15 to 20 knots, especially across the north coast. So with all the winds coming in from the north, it makes sense that there's gonna be more rainfall across northern Jamaica, especially during the morning hours, western Jamaica as well, picking up all of those waves across the western portion of the island. And we start to see all of that air pile up across sections of some south central and southeastern parishes where we have those darker shades of blues. And that's where we could get all of that air piling up, those cumulus clouds getting heavy, possibly becoming cumulonimbus clouds, who knows? Either way, that's usually what happens, the afternoon convection, especially across the south and the east of the island. So we'll see exactly how that goes for tomorrow. Definitely going to be a wet night across northern Jamaica into Monday morning as well. And with the upper level winds coming in from the southwest for tomorrow, it's definitely going to be favoring more of that rainfall across sections of some northern parishes. So definitely a section of Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, and the south central and southeastern parishes for the afternoon hours. So Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas. So we'll see exactly what unfolds with that. When I say upper level winds and we see the clouds coming in from the southwest to the northeast, if we actually take a look at the infrared satellite images, this is what I'm talking about. We have the low level clouds moving from southwest to northeast across the island, as we saw on this map that shows the visible. Then we have the upper level clouds as indicated by those blues, greens, yellows, oranges, and reds that are being blown off towards the northeast. It's the upper level winds that are blowing those high cold cloud tops off. So if we're gonna be having that air pile up across sections of some southern and eastern parishes for tomorrow, we could have some of those clouds being pushed out towards the north and east across the island. So it would more favor sections of northern parishes, in my humble opinion. Either way, let's take a look at the meat of the matter. We're looking ahead in terms of the rainfall forecast. Euro and the GFS models are both showing 12 a.m. and we're seeing more so rainfall dancing to the north of the island. We see the GFS showing more blues that represent rainfall surrounding the island. Euro showing more blues that represent rainfall to the north and west of the island. Keeping it to about 5 a.m., we still see much of the same GFS surrounding the island with the blues, but with that northerly or northeasterly or northwesterly flow across the island, it's definitely going to be favoring sections of some northern and western parishes. So who knows, sections of western Westmoreland, sections of Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anna, St. Mary getting on some of that rainfall. Skipping ahead to about 10 a.m. Much of the same spots on the GFS. GFS making more sense. Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, sections of even Portland, St. Thomas might get in on some of that. Euro showing more of that rainfall across majority of the north coast of the island. We'll see how that actually goes, which one of the models will win. But finally, the real consensus is being shown by around 1 p.m. Look at what we see. The blues that represent rainfall across sections of most parishes in Jamaica, especially across the south and east. Look at St. Thomas right there, getting darker shades of blues, even greens in there. Sections of Manchester, Clarendon, sections of Kingston, St. Catherine. GFS showing some darker shades of blues across section of Kingston, St. Catherine, and St. Thomas as well at the same time. And we see that the rainfall is spreading from east to west across the island. Then finally, by around 4 p.m., we start to see more of that rainfall taper off across the south and east of the island. So it all makes sense with that afternoon rainfall that's expected across those spots. So we'll see exactly what unfolds if you're going out. Please ensure that you bring your rain gear, umbrella, raincoat, whatever the case may be, because there's definitely going to be some amount of rainfall across sections of Jamaica for the next 24 hours. And these maps from the Euro and the GFS confirm this. Both of these maps are showing the rainfall totals for the next 24 hours from now all the way up until 10 p.m. on a Monday. Not saying that it's going to be raining all the way up until then, but if there's going to be rainfall, these are the spots that are going to be getting the most. So we do see the greens, the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and as relates to the most in the way of rainfall totals, it should be confined to the east. The Euro model, no, the GFS model showing up to 0.57 of an inch of rainfall for the totals. The Euro model a bit more robust, showing up to zero point 0.8 of an inch of rainfall, especially across the northeast. So we'll see exactly what unfolds with that. Either way, we'll take all the rainfall that we can get. We're in the month of December. We're in the first month of our dry season. It's quite a blessing that we're getting rainfall in the first month of our dry season before we actually head into January, February, March that we know can be so dry. So yes, we'll take any rainfall that we can get before we head into the peak of the dry season. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have that northwesterly flow coming in from the Gulf of Mexico associated with the cold front, bringing some amount of rainfall to sections of Guatemala, sections of Honduras, sections of the Cayman Islands, sections of Jamaica, eastern Cuba, the Bahamas, sections of some amount of the eastern Caribbean islands coming in from the east with all of those low level clouds. A definite section of the Windward and Leeward Islands, sections of Colombia, southern Venezuela getting in on some of the action as well, Guyana, Suriname. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, we can see that we didn't have much taking place today. A lot of hit or miss showers, nothing happening right now. Maybe some isolated showers across southeastern Puerto Rico. Not much happening across the US or British Virgin Islands, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda right now. But maybe a section of Dominica and Guadeloupe getting in on some mode of isolated showers. As relates to the Barbados radar, we're definitely getting in on some amount of rainfall as we speak across sections of Barbados coming in from the east, pushing to the west across the island. We can also see that rainfall across sections of St. Lucia, Martinique, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, sections of Grenada. Don't see much happening right now across Trinidad and Tobago, but that could change as we head throughout the night, especially across Tobago. As it relates to the wider view of Doppler radar images, we don't see much taking place across the majority of the basin. All of the rainfall is confined to that area across the eastern Caribbean as we saw in the other satellite images. As it relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, wherever we see those blues and greens, you know that represents some below average temperatures, and all of the below average temperatures will be confined to sections of the Bahamas, southern Florida, the Gulf of Mexico, the Yucatan Peninsula, sections of Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua, sections of Costa Rica as well, while the average to above average temperature should be expected across eastern Cuba, Jamaica, especially the Turks and Caicos, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, the ABC Islands, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, sections of Grenada, St. Vincent, Barbados, sections of St. Lucia, sections of Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe as well. That's where the temperature should be above normal. But we start to see some blues that represent below normal temperatures to the north of Guadeloupe. So Antigua and Barbuda, sections of St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as some average temperatures across sections of the US and British Virgin Islands, as well as eastern Puerto Rico. As relates to the Sahara and dust forecast, we do see that majority of the Caribbean should be in the clear for 2 p.m. on Monday, as all the dust associated with the Sahara Desert should be across the main development region, as indicated by those darker shades of browns. Some of these lighter shades of browns could make it into sections of French Guyana, coastal areas of Suriname, Guyana, sections of Trinidad and Tobago, not to mention maybe even spilling into Grenada, but that's just about it. And we do see that it's more so on the lighter shade of brown scale, with all of the darkest shades of browns that represent the vigorous plume of dust across the central main development region and the eastern main development region, not to mention portions of Africa. And we hope it stays that way. As it relates to the wave forecast, we're starting to see things calm down across the majority of the Caribbean where we see more and we have blues that represent anywhere from 1 to 1.5 meter wave heights. Still have some purples across the northeastern Caribbean islands, sections of Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, Martinique, Antigua and Barbuda, eastern Guadeloupe, eastern Dominica, eastern sections of the Martinique St. Lucia area. Where we see those purples, and we know these purples represent anywhere from 2 meter wave height or even higher than that. And that's because the winds are gonna be, having a mixture of those brighter shades of greens and some mixture of yellows that represent anywhere from 20 to maybe close to 25 knots. And we do see that for a majority of the central and eastern Caribbean, the wind should be coming in from the east, averaging anywhere from 10 to 20 knots at most, as represented by those blues and greens, while it's the central and western Caribbean that should be getting in on those winds coming in from the north and west, especially right there to the east of Nicaragua. We see those yellows, some very much strong winds. As related to the rainfall forecast for the next 24 hours, keep in mind that both of these maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Monday. Not saying that it's going to be raining all the way up until then within that time frame, but these are the spots that are going to be getting on some amount of rainfall if they're not already getting in on that rainfall right now. So definite sections of the Cayman Islands, coastal areas of Honduras, Costa Rica, Panama, sections of Jamaica, eastern and central Cuba, the Bahamas, especially the Turks and Caicos, Haiti, especially the Dominican Republic. We can also see that rainfall into sections of maybe southern areas of Puerto Rico, not so much in the way of rainfall, but some areas. Maybe sections of Guadeloupe and Dominica still to get rainfall if they're not already getting that rainfall right now. Still some more rainfall in store for sections of Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And who knows, it could be that rainfall that we just saw just now on the Doppler radar images that they're getting right now. Sections of Grenada, Tobago still to get some amount of rainfall. Maybe some isolated rainfall across sections of Trinidad. We do see some isolated pockets of rainfall for sections of Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, sections of southern Venezuela, Colombia. And we know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing something similar like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.